Hi everyone, welcome to the second part of this video, which is from the Minimania one book by Gabi Wolf. Now, we did the sun set part of the picture in the last video. Now, I've had a little look at it and there are a few bits that I want to tweak before I move on. One thing I noticed was the sailing boat. Between the sails and the mast there's no colour, so I need to do that first. I'm just going to grab the brilliant yellow. This is Castle Arts pencils. I can come in a little closer and just put a little bit of colour in there. I'm being a bit careful, I don't want to get it onto the actual sails. It's okay on the mast and I want to put a bit more colour up to the edge here, and this bit here looks a bit too orange, so I'm going to put a bit of yellow in there like that. There's a bit there that I missed and a few bits here I missed as well. It was just a few bits here and there, and I also feel like I need a little bit more orange on top of the blue, just in places. So I'm just going to grab the cadmium orange deep and just put a few bits sort of here, as if, you know, to sort of blend it in almost. It's not really blended, but just sort of mix it up a bit like that. There we go. I'm just being a bit fussy, I think, but there we go. What we're going to start with today proper is these tree trunks. I'm just trying to get the morning shot, maybe I will come out a tad. So this one going up the side of here and this one going up the side of here. Now I like to do a very dark colour tree trunk, and I think that'll work well as the sort of outline for this picture. But we're going to start with a slightly lighter brown. I think I'm going to start with the raw umber and then use one of these darker colours with it afterwards, and you'll see hopefully how it's going to all work and come together. So here's my raw umber. Now raw umber is really the only lightish brown there is in this set that isn't orangey. So I'm hoping, again, as I was saying last video, I'm just going to colour all the tree trunks and branches in layer of this. Not too hard, not too soft. So I'm covering quite a bit of the white paper, because if I don't want to, as if I wasn't going to colour over it again, it would be a thick enough layer, but I am going to colour over it again, so I don't want to push, or some of it at least, so I don't want to push down too hard. I'm just gently layering up a little bit. Anyway, as I was saying, there's not many sort of light browns that I think work that well in this set. There are some really pale, like the cream rose from the pastel tint, but it's a bit too pale. So I'm hoping we'll get things a bit like a beige. Proper beige would be nice. I'm thinking of in the autumn set that they're bringing out. Be nice to have a beige. Are you listening, Castle? I don't think they're listening. It would be nice to have some sort of light browns. We've got enough really dark, almost black browns. We've got quite a lot of reddy browns, sort of rust, but maybe, yeah, I would like some more reds, loads more reds. So we'll see what happens. Really, we're going to do the same on this side. The two trees are going to be the same colours roughly as each other. Oh, was a flash then? I think a bird must have flown past the window, or something went in front of the sun for a moment. It was quite strange. I've got the blind shut, so I don't know if you would have noticed, but there's a little bit of light coming through in various places, which caught my eye. But yeah, it's very sunny today. I found that colouring with the blind down and the lamp on seems to help my eyes a little bit. My eyes aren't perfect still. I am going to make that optician's appointment that I keep banging on about. I just haven't, I keep forgetting, to be honest. I don't know why. But anyway, yeah, I'm looking after them. and this seems to be the best way for my eyes to be able to see. If I have the blind open, the glare of the light through the window catches my eye if it's sunny, and seems to make it worse. And it also doesn't always look so good on the paper in the film, although my films seem to be quite dark. If it's lighter outside, the camera adjusts more for that and seems to make it even darker. So I don't know what the best is. I'm still trying to work it all out. I'm just checking that I've done it all, and I think I have. So that's the initial layer. And as I said, we're going to go to one of the darker browns. I want a brown that is a proper dark brown. I'm going to use the Van Dyke brown actually. I could have easily used the mocha, the oak, the cocoa, the dark chocolate, which are all from the Harmonious set, and they're all much of a muchness. But I decided that I would stick to a soft touch because that's actually what I've done so far, so it might make it easier for you, those of you who don't have the Harmonious, to keep it consistent. So for this little branch here, I want to make it darker underneath because I feel there will be some shadow there and against where the greenery is, like that. And actually, because it's so thin, that's taken up quite a lot of the branch. Now the side ones are a little more tricky to know where the shadow might be, so for me I find it easier to just do a bit on each edge. My lead is wobbly. I don't know if my pencil sharpener isn't that full, so I don't know why it's decided to be wobbly, but it is. I'm trying to be careful and preserve it. I'm sure you do the same thing. I think it is working okay at the minute. We'll see what happens. So I think we can put a little bit here where it's touching this bit. Now I don't know if this is meant to be the same, this bit at the bottom, you can't see it properly. Okay, the same as this sort of bit or different, I don't really know, but I'll have a think about that as we go on. I also have no idea what to do with that sailing boat. You know, it would probably be quite the silhouette. But I don't want to, I want to add a little bit of colour, but I don't want to distract from the sunset, so I'm just having a think about it really. I can hear a car revving outside. It's that sort of sunny day, Sunday afternoon, where people will sort of just go out, and it doesn't happen so much as it used to. It used to always be like Sunday afternoon drivers just pootling around in the countryside around where I was brought up in the sort of Cotswolds. You know, people would just decide it would be nice to go for a drive, but drive slowly so they could enjoy the view as they drive. That sort of thing. My dad used to do it all the time. But people don't do that now because fuel is so much more expensive. I don't really know why. I assume it's to do with demand and supply, but you know, when I was young it was okay, and of course it wasn't unleaded, it was leaded petrol. Ooh. But you know, we are learning slowly to try and make our you know, our planet a little bit less polluted. I think it sort of feels like when it has a direct effect on us, like the lead, you know, poisoning us, then we notice it more than and do something about it. You know, I remember when unleaded was banned or coming up to be banned and that sort of thing, you know, people had to convert their cars, and then we had to have catalytic converters on cars, although I think there are still some cars that are an exception. I think if you've got a classic car, as they call it, you might be able to get away with it. But I'm going to leave that for now and do the leaves. I shall pull it down a bit because we aren't going to do these. We aren't going to do these. We're just going to do these ones here. Now I want them to be reasonably dark because as I said before, it's our frame, so we wanted to frame the picture. So I'm having a little look at what we've got going on here on the old swatch chart. These are the darker greens. I don't really want a bluey green. No, a lot of them are very bluey. And these are very grey. I am thinking the chrome green. No, I think the oxide of chrome, I'm swaying towards that. I've got to find it. Is that it there? Nope. There it is. Oxide of chrome. It's going to need a good sharpen, but I'll show you it and you can find it. Now we're not going to just use one shade of green. You may have guessed that. But we're going to start with this dark one. Now I'm thinking I'm going to start down here. And I'm thinking that the bottom, the lower bits are going to be darker, so I'm going to start here. I'm going to use a little circular movement. I'm not going to worry about leaving little white bits and gaps because we can fill those in with our next colour. I'm just going to sort of fade our colour up as I go up the, keep that dark, as I sort of move up the little area. Now these look to me like water droplets, but I'm assuming they're leaves, so I'm just going to put a bit in the bottom there. I have to, I'm not particularly used to Gabi Wolf's work, having not had any of her books before, so you might sort of be more familiar with what's what, if you know what I mean, on her pictures, but that's okay. It's fun to try something different to learn. There we go. So there is that one. You can see it's sort of roughish at the minute, which is how I want it. And then down here, so we want to make sure the lower bit is dark enough, it's sort of defined, we can see what's going on with it, like that. And then we can sort of make it a bit rougher up here like this. And it helps to give that impression, I think, of sort of bushiness within our sort of tree, clumps of leaves, clumps of bushy leaves. There we go, like that. And we're just going to carry on in the same fashion right through. I've been thinking of my parents today. They're on holiday. They've gone to Exmouth. I've never been there before. They said it was a really small town and they really struggled to find postcards and stamps. But me and my sister had a little look on Google Street View and Google Maps and had a look, and we found that there was a post office, but it was inside a another shop, so that might have made it a little tricky to find. There seemed to be loads of shops, but maybe just not the type that they like. There weren't loads of clothes shops. My mum likes clothes shops, so that might have been part of it. There was a New Look, I think I saw. That was about it. There was various supermarkets. There was like Tesco, Marks and Spencer's, Food Hall. There was I think, was there Morrison's, I think. There were quite a few different places like that. And then there was a Boots, which is always useful, and various sort of eating, lots and lots of eating places, cafes and things, which is exactly what you would expect in a sort of touristy town. And sort of general shops, sort of gifty type places, which I think they like, so I'm not sure, but maybe it just wasn't their type of thing, you know. I can't remember what else there was, but we're having a good old nosy. A lot of businesses like hairdressers, tannings, nails, massage type places, that sort of thing, you know, little independents. So that's that tree. This one's a lot bigger. It will take us a while. Let's get going. But yeah, I thought it looked quite nice. There's quite a big seafront with the beach, and then there's a sort of harbour with lots of boats, which is always fun. I always like looking at the boats, just looking at the difference between them, especially the big yachts, you know, really smart ones, you know. Oh, look at that. I wouldn't want one, of course. Well, I say of course, I wouldn't. Just not my thing. But it's just fun to be nosy. It's like looking inside someone's house. Do you know what I mean? How the other half live, as my mum would say. You know. I mean, to be fair, we're incredibly lucky to have. You know, I've got a new journal. which, changing the subject completely ish, going off on a tangent I guess, which I got for my birthday, and each day is a prompted journal. It's Wrong and Chatterjee's journal, which I got from Intelligent Change, and every day you get prompts, and the first thing is every day is name something you're truly grateful for. And I always think, my goodness, to have a house that we own that keeps us warm and safe, in a town that's pretty, accessible to shops, you know, by foot, and you know, and we can get things delivered if we need them from, you know, local shops and things. It's just, I just feel so incredibly grateful that even that simple thing, which in this country most people have, not everyone I know, they don't, I mean, most people, to be fair, don't own their own house, but most people have somewhere they can live. And but our location, you know, we're so lucky by the canal, you know, near shops and that sort of thing. I mean, not everyone wants that sort of location, but most people don't want to live. There are certain locations that nobody really wants to live, do you know what I mean? So we're lucky. I mean, for example, my sister, she's okay. She lives in where she lives is fine, but she would like to be closer to her parents, really. But because she set up her house, she moved up north, the housing is so much cheaper that if she sold her house, she would not be able to buy. If she sold, she's got a 4-bedroom house with a garden, a front garden and a back garden. She's got a bathroom, downstairs cloakroom, very small kitchen, lounge diner, yeah, garage as well. And she's on a sort of corner plot, so her garden sort of goes around the corner edge of the house, you know, quite a lot going on. They have a driveway, but they tend to park a parking space on the road that they can use, which is much easier to access. But if she sold her house and tried to buy something here, she'd have to go from that 4-bedroom house to a 2. You know, the house prices are that different. So it just makes me feel incredibly grateful that we set up here. There are a few reasons why we've been able to buy and she hasn't. For example, I mean, she owns a house, but I mean, such an expensive house. There are lots of different reasons. You know, we were lucky enough to have saved up for a good deposit because my husband was made redundant, had a big redundancy payment at the time we were moving. Then he is in a well-paid job. I've always been able to earn a little bit of money to contribute some. We've only got 2 children, not 4, you know. There's a lot of reasons. Now we're going to change colour. I want to use my favourite colour. I'm just going to see if it works. It's going to work. So I'm looking at the colour I used, which was the oxide of chrome. I was thinking of going to the sap green, but we'd go quite yellowy. So I'm wondering whether to go to the cadmium instead, or even a cadmium pale. I think I'm going to go to the cadmium green, which seems to be missing. It isn't missing, I just can't spot it. Is that it there? I think that's there it is. Cadmium green. The good news is this isn't going to be my last colour. I'm going to start on this side though. But I'm going to definitely sort of work on darkening this lower area more. But I want to be aware of the areas that I want to keep lighter so that I can use a lighter colour on those. Like that. But yes, so it is very good writing a gratitude, you know, grateful for having husband, children, nice house, living in a nice area, all these things, you know, being brought up well, My sister would sometimes argue certain things she didn't like. You know, we were brought up when smacking was the thing, and my sister's made no secret about the fact that she felt that that was really bad, that we were smacked as children, but it's just what happened. You know, I think you just have to forgive and move on. But for me, it wasn't that traumatic. It was just what happened. It was just a way of telling you off, you know. But she's been affected differently, I guess. But also, she was the naughty one. Yeah, I don't know what that was all about. I don't know if she does, to be honest. I mean, when you're little, is there really a thought behind it, you know? And the more good that I was, the more cross she would get. And you know, it was interesting. I don't know if it was to do with being twins and battling for attention. You know, that's always going to be a thing between all siblings. I've missed these two out, haven't I? I'm just going to grab my oxide of chrome, or else I'm going to forget, and just do the base of those. I don't know of a family where there wasn't sibling rivalry, you know. So it could have just been that. I don't know. It's fascinating. I think maybe, I always wonder whether it would be the same dynamic if we were a boy and a girl, rather than both girls, you know, in a family. I don't know whether that makes a big difference to the dynamic. I don't know anyone who's just one boy and one girl in the family, or boy and girl twins. We did have friends who were twin boy and girl, but they had 3 older sisters, so that was a bit different. They were thoroughly spoilt by their sisters, as you can imagine. Their sisters were, I think they were at school still when they were born. That would have been a heck of a age difference if they weren't. I don't remember seeing much of their sisters. I'm sure when I went to their house, only the youngest was at school, and yet definitely one of them was either at university or at work. I remember. Oh, was she a midwife or nurse? I can't remember. But yeah, that's quite the age difference, isn't it? Did I put this one on these? I don't even remember. I put some on anyway. Yeah. Though my sister's, what's the age difference between hers? Her youngest is 13 and her oldest is 23, I think. This is green, cadmium green pale. So yeah, that's 10 years. But her daughters are a couple of years apart, and her sons are less than 2 years apart. There's just a big gap because a different relationship, you know. So yeah, she always wanted lots of children though. She wanted more than 4, but her current husband was quite happy with having 4 because he's got 2 from a previous marriage or relationship, not sure. So they've got 6 between them, and he had a couple of step daughters. I don't think they've called them that, but you know, that he sort of still keeps in touch with from that earlier relationship. So it's a lot of children to be thinking about, caring for, that sort of thing. I mean, a lot of them are grown up, but it's only the 2 boys that are still at home and dependent, really. Although my sister's youngest daughter is home at the moment. She's a student at the same uni as my boy, same age. Well, 9 months difference, just happens to fall in the same academic year. So She's at home for the holidays now. Because, well, the holiday haven't quite started, but the classes have ended. It's, you know, essay writing time. My sister's finishing her MSc, Masters, too. She's writing her dissertation. She's done her piece of research. She's looking into literature. She's doing English literature, but she's shown people a book and sort of talked to them about the emotions and things like that are produced from the book. It's a sort of book about a cow, and it sort of indicates that the cow has quite a hard life. You know, she's a vegan, and I think she was quite interested in seeing whether the book would draw out people's empathy towards animals or not. You know, it was an interesting study. But she didn't really manage to find enough participants to really draw out much information, and I think that's often the case when you're doing these studies at university and things, because there's no funding for you to be able to pay people to take part. Then finding volunteers can be really tricky. If anyone ever messages me or puts anything on, anything to say my kid's doing a study or I am or whatever, if I'm qualified to take part, I always will, as long as I, within reason obviously. You know, if I wouldn't be able to travel places, or I wouldn't feel comfortable doing like a focus group, but if it's just a questionnaire, then I'm always happy to help, because I think it's important. Some research is really important, and I also find it quite fun and interesting. I'm nosy. What are people researching? You know, what have they found? It's because I've done my own master's degree in research methods. I just find it all quite fun and interesting. Right, I'm going to finish my trees there. Now, goodness, a lot of time passed while I was yapping. Okay. I think that works well though. I'm pleased with how that looks. Now, along the bottom here, we have this piece. And I'm thinking I want this to form part of our sort of framework, not so much these leaves because they come inside, most of them, but this bit. So I want this bit to be dark. Now, could use the same colour, but I think I don't want to do that. I want to use a different colour. It does look like a bush, and this looks more like grass. So I'm thinking we can go a bit darker. So I'm just having a little look. We could use one of the more bluey greens, like the Castle Green Deep, that sort of colour. Or we could go for one of these really dark ones here, like the Hookers or the Chrome Green. I'm just having a think. I think I might start with the Hookers Green because it will work with the Castle Greens. So here it is, Hookers Green. And I'm going to, again, make my darkest part at the bottom, and that again is to help with this sort of framework look, although up here we haven't. It also makes sense because there'll be more shadow at the bottom. You can hear my dryer beeping, the washings in the sheets. It's sheet washing day and they've gone in, but no one seems to notice. I don't know whether people don't hear it, whether they filter it out, and because they sort of don't react to it in the same way that I do, if you know what I mean. They just their brain doesn't draw their attention to it, or what it is really. It's like when I said the other day to husband, can you, no, is it him? I can't remember. Can you bring the washing down, please? Yeah. Brought the washing down and then just left it on the floor in front of the washing machine. I'm like, did you really think I wanted you to bring it down so that I could put it on? Do you know what I mean? I was a bit confused, but they all get very distracted. Then washing is not their priority. I mean, it isn't really mine either. But someone has to take a responsibility for it, you know. Oh, someone's moved. But I guess also, oh, my son's gone down. That's good of him. Also, because he hasn't got any assignments he's working on at the moment, I've been giving him some extra chores to do. He's very jolly about it. He knows it's fair, and he's been getting away without doing any for ages because he's been so busy. So he's happy to do a little bit here and there. So that's nice. He helped me with the cleaning yesterday. This is the Castle Green, and basically he just cleaned. I'm going to go over what I've done because this is quite a lighter colour actually. I'm not sure whether this was a wise choice. I'm going to go over everything with this actually. Yeah, he cleaned all the sinks and mirrors, I think. My husband cleaned the toilets. I vacuumed. The jobs got done really quickly, which was nice. Although a few got forgotten, did them today, but that's okay. It meant that I could get on and get on with some work, some recording. It is work. It is my work. But there we go. Now, there was, I need to explain to you, although this might not be the best video to explain it on, but someone got a little bit confused about memberships the other day, and I'm going to go darker down at the bottom here. I wanted to explain it a little more carefully. I have two types of memberships. I have memberships to my YouTube channel and memberships to my Ko-fi. They are separate and you get separate rewards for each. For Ko-fi memberships, you get a discount of items in the Ko-fi shop and you get some sneaky peek pictures as a little thank you. For members, whoops, I'm just going to sharpen my pencil. For members of my YouTube channel, you get early access to videos and the compilation videos. The reason they are different is because the YouTube membership is much more expensive. The Ko-fi starts at $1, but you can change it to whatever you want. Go up. $1's the cheapest. And the YouTube, I sort of had to set an amount, as I did on Ko-fi, and I can't change it now. So that amount is set in stone, unfortunately, unless I cancel all memberships and restart them, which I'm not going to do. I feel that getting the compilation videos and the early access is worth more money, but I don't know, you may or may not agree. So if you want early access and compilation videos, you have to join the membership here. There's a link in the description, it's quite near the top, that you can go and learn more about it. I'm trying to find another colour to finish this off. I think I'm going to, do we go mint or do we go, I want to go leaf green. Oh, now this might, leaf green light. Now this is a yellowy green, it's going to change the tone and I want to do that. I think this is looking a bit too bluey. I'm going to go over everything with this and it will brighten, lighten and yellowy it. That's a word. So yes, but the Ko-fi is just really a way of supporting the channel, and the memberships again are just so that you can send a monthly amount if it makes it easier for you, sort of thing. And as I say, I do a little sneaky peek sometimes of things, but you also get the discount off the paid for items. Now there's not many on there at the moment, most things are free, and there's no reason why I've hopped over to this side. I just fancy a change. I want to add more items to the shop, more paid for ones, but I haven't really decided what. So it's in my head, I'm thinking about it, but at the moment there's 4 items in there that are paid for, 3 lots of bookmarks and an ebook, and you can get them for half price. So, and then So I'm wondering whether to do, if I do a half price offer for everyone, whether members will get a further half price off. I don't know whether I could, no, because you can only put one discount code in at a time. No, that wouldn't work. Right, now I am thinking that we've got a few smaller details to do. They could potentially take a little while. So I think I'm going to leave the video here for today. And let's come out a bit, there we go. And come back to it for one final session so that I'm not rushing. I think it will work better that way. I haven't decided what colour to do these little guys. I quite like them in white, but I think, I don't know. I'm basically colouring the things that I know what colour they're going to be, and then eventually we'll get to the ones that I don't, and then I'll have to make up my mind. Anyway, thank you so much for watching today. Hope that you have a really lovely day and happy colouring.